So the Square-Enix Presents presentation has given us a first look at Life is Strange True Colors, and it looks fascinating. The presentation as a whole was actually a lot of fun, teasing as it does several upcoming projects that pique my curiosity. Like, I may be the only person in the world who's excited for Balan Wonderland. It gives off some Nights into Dreams vibes, which is definitely my jam. If they can make the game actually playable, it could be fun. I also liked seeing Matt Fraction's Hawkeye. No, not Hawkeye, Hawkeye. Who's Hawkeye? Added to Marvel's Avengers. I can't say I'm not surprised to see the phenomenally commercially unsuccessful game get an expansion, but then the sunk cost fallacy can make fools of us all. But the real draw for the presentation was Life is Strange True Colors, a game which, from the looks of it, attempts to reinvent the formula as only the fourth game in a series can. I'm going to be honest. After quite enjoying the first Life is Strange, I've been a little underwhelmed by the gameplay mechanics in future installments in the series. The narrative has always been strong, don't get me wrong, but the first Life is Strange had such a cool central mechanic that got dumped the moment before the storm showed up. If you haven't played a Life is Strange game, why are you watching this video? But also, these are games about supernatural things happening to primarily teenage or young adult American hipsters. Or at least a middle-aged Frenchman's idea of a teenage American hipster. But for the most part, developer Don't Nod does a solid job of keeping up the facade. Says the millennial Brit. It's possible that I'm also just not aware of what teenage American hipster life is like. Are hipsters even a thing among teenagers? Oh, I don't know. The central mechanic of the first Life is Strange is that the protagonist, Max, can turn back time, and this is, I don't want to understate this here, an absolute stroke of genius. It may be the smartest, best thought out mechanic to appear in a Choices Matter adventure game since the invention of, well, graphics, I suppose. Because if you're playing a Choices Matter game, that's the Steam name, by the way, for games where you can choose a path in the story and see how the consequences play out. If you're playing a Choices Matter game, you're no stranger to travelling back in time. Except normally when playing one of these games, the time travel mechanic is known as the quick save button. So Commander Shepard has just eaten Rocky Road ice cream, and now Garrus is mad at her because he's allergic to marshmallows. Just reload a previous save and try Cherry Garcia to see how he reacts to that flavour instead. We all do it constantly. You want to see what every different dialogue option looks like, and what consequences different choices bring before settling on the best one. What Life is Strange does is make reloading a previous save nice and legal. There's even a button to help you do it, and as such you get a good look at the immediate consequences of any decision so that you can make an informed choice. What's also great about the way this game is written is there's never a right or a wrong decision. I mean, as long as nobody gets hit by a train. No matter which path you choose, Max will inner monologue a bit about how she's not sure you made the right call. And, because you can only rewind time a little, you can't skip back through hours of storytelling if you happen upon a single consequence you don't like. Somehow, this time travel mechanic makes decisions feel even more meaningful, because you have a better sense of how each choice will come back to bite you, but you know you need to make a choice regardless. This is all really great stuff, and I'd love to have seen this mechanic explored further in subsequent games. However, the specific stories that developers Don't Nod and Deck 9 have made since then don't really lend themselves to time travel. Yes, there are supernatural elements to the story, but they don't necessarily affect the gameplay to quite the extent that the time travel mechanic does. This isn't a criticism of what they've done with the Life is Strange series, it's just a recognition that the time travel power is really cool, and there hasn't been quite such a clever gameplay twist in Before the Storm or Life is Strange 2. The series hasn't had a unique gameplay hook again. Until now. Life is Strange True Colors, developed by Deck 9, who also made the Before the Storm prequel to the original Life is Strange, features a brand new protagonist, Alex Chen, and a brand new story, a murder mystery. Here's what we know so far. Alex's brother, Gabe, dies in a supposed accident, and she sets about trying to solve what she believes is his murder. To do this, she uses the power of emotions by sensing how people are feeling in a mechanic that hopefully feels a little less obvious than anything going on in LA Noire. Alex's emotion power seems to be tied to colours, hence the name of the game. People will glow different colours depending on how they are feeling, and she can use this to know how to poke at a witness to learn the truth of, hey, wait a second, this is a Phoenix Wright game. No, seriously, this is the exact same mechanic as Ace Attorney Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. Defense attorney Athena Sykes has a magic computer that can read people's emotions to better interrogate them. This is wonderful. First off, the world needs more Ace Attorney games, just in general. The West needs more specifically, But we're probably not going to get those Edgeworth spin-off games localized into English anytime soon, so I'm just going to have to deal. Secondly, I absolutely love this concept in a Life is Strange setting. This is the thing the series has been lacking. A cool, weird, supernatural mechanic that fits the game's story and makes up for the loss of the whole time travel deal. Now, I spend approximately 6 to 7 hours every day thinking about F-Stop, the mysterious gameplay mechanic that Valve was developing for the original version of Portal 2. Bear with me on this tangent, I am going somewhere, I promise. See, initially Portal 2 wasn't going to have portals. The team developed a supposedly fascinating new puzzle mechanic called F-Stop, which was genuinely interesting and exciting to Valve. The plan was to make a series of Portal games, each with a different core gameplay mechanic, with the connecting theme of Aperture Science's wacky experiments. So Valve spent a year developing F-Stop and creating new puzzles, and then showed it to playtesters, who were severely disappointed. They complained that this game was literally called Portal 2 and yet there were no portals. So F-Stop went into the Valve Vault, and while we've heard a little bit about it in the years since every now and then, it's never fully seen the light of day. But I digress, sorry about that. My point is, with True Colours, the Life is Strange series establishes itself as the acoustic guitar beanie-wearing version of Valve's original vision for the Portal series. Games that have an aesthetic link, but which experiment with different gameplay mechanics. If I were making the fourth installment of a popular franchise and I wanted to make sure that people didn't get bored, this is exactly the kind of thing that I'd want to work on. Not only this, but centering the gameplay around colours and emotions just makes perfect sense for the Life is Strange universe. So colour theory is nothing new. Different colours elicit different emotions within us. This isn't news to anyone. They call me mellow yellow, etc. But we're also used to seeing patterns in the colours in the world around us and acting accordingly. Red means stop, blue means cold, yellow stripes means get that horrible wasp away from me. You know this, I don't need to tell you. And game developers often use this to subconsciously push us towards certain ideas. The Life is Strange series is full of important colours that reflect the story, the characters' emotions, the journey that the narrative takes. Brandon Gregory wrote a fantastic piece for Medium on the use of colour symbolism in the original Life is Strange that you should definitely check out. Specific shades of red and blue appear repeatedly throughout the game to highlight what characters are feeling and where their arcs are headed. So, considering the series' existing nuanced connection with its colour palette, bringing these emotionally resonant hues into the foreground as a central game mechanic is just absolute genius. In fact, it mirrors the genius of using time travel in the original Life is Strange. It's something that's already there within these games under the surface, but now it's being formally recognised and incorporated into the player's official arsenal of skills. This is, to put it bluntly, good game design. Ludonarrative resonance, if I can get away with such a pretentious term. The fourth instalment of a popular series is often when the magic starts to fade. Things settle into a predictable pattern, and the game starts to coast. With True Colours, though, Life is Strange seems to be reinventing itself as something fresh and original, while staying true to the groundbreaking central mechanics and storytelling that made the series popular in the first place. While it's obviously very early days, I am extremely interested to see how Deck 9 does in bringing this new mechanic into the game. But as I say, literally all we have to go on at this point is a trailer. Let me know in the comments below whether you agree with me, and if you really, really hate the sound of my voice, consider subscribing so that you can punish yourself on a weekly basis. Thank you for watching.